today's top boxing news. Ow!
In Skye Nicholson defeated Olympian Skye Nicholson, and she feels like there's a bit of an issue there between you two, and said that you tweeted something after her last fight and then deleted it, and she wants to fight you, but she thinks that you don't want to fight her. What is going on here between you and Skye Nicholson?
Listen, I'm the champion. I'm the undisputed champion, and I understand all these girls at featherweight. They only have one way to look, and that's up. And I'm the one up there. I'm on the top. So I don't see it as a disrespect, like the disrespectful way as these girls calling me out because there's only one champion now. But with Skye, I don't think there's right now I'm at the tail end of my career, and now it's money fights. And I don't think Skye will bring that. And I want to fight the best. I want to fight maybe other champions. That's gonna make us the money that we deserve. And maybe in the future, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think she only got 8 fights.
Yeah.
So and I don't know. I just don't know.
You weren't, but did you throw some shade her way?
Maybe she probably felt it was shade, but it was never shade. I don't throw shade.
That's not what you do. All right. Would you be interested? No. So if they offered you that fight, you'd say no thanks. Just doesn't feel big enough for you.
At this point in my At this point in my career, I don't think it's a good fight in general.
Okay, what do you think of her as a fighter?
Not that I'm afraid.
No, I know.
But now,
of course.
Now it's just making money moves, making the right moves, and making the fights that make sense.
Okay, what do you think of her last performance?
I didn't see it. Sorry.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
I think that Amanda was about as gracious as she could have been with Skye Nicholson, who's targeting her because, let's face it, there's only one champion at featherweight, and it's Amanda. So who else is Skye Nicholson going to make her way towards?
Skye Nicholson, who said there's only one champ in my division, so that is who I'm chasing. I'll be ready when I get my shot.
Skye may yet one day get her shot at a full-fledged world title, but I don't think it's going to be against Amanda Serrano for several reasons, one of which is that they're in very different places in their careers. Amanda said that herself. She's focused on the big fights and the cash fights, whereas Skye ain't been around that long, and she's only got a few fights.
If for some reason you've got it in your head that Amanda Serrano is scared of Skye Nicholson,
or that she sees something in Skye Nicholson that she has to worry about, listen, Skye's a good kid.
She's a kid compared to Amanda Serrano, not just in terms of maturation, but her maturation as a fighter. She's nowhere near ready for a fight like that.
And that was evident in her last 2 fights. The Tania Alvarez fight in particular, a crude
Tania Alvarez fight, the Linda Laker fight.
Skye's a pure boxer. She's a southpaw, like Amanda Serrano is a southpaw, but she's a pure boxer, an economic outside fighter, outside jabber, stays on their bike most of a fight.
Not a combination puncher, not even in fights that she's winning. Doesn't pack an authoritative enough punch to keep Amanda Serrano off of her. I mean, God forbid that Skye actually gets what she wants and she gets Amanda in the ring.
I think Amanda would put her in a hospital.
Skye's got some tools. Don't get me wrong. She's a good young fighter.
I think her best weapon in an Amanda Serrano fight would have to be her mobility, her agility, her legs, her movement. But in terms of offense, she'd be greatly lacking. She doesn't throw very many punches in fights that she's dominating, fights that she's winning. In an Amanda Serrano fight,
Skye's a pure boxer. Amanda, she's a boxer puncher, but she's a bit of a hybrid.
The really good fighters, the top shelf, top level fighters, they usually are. They usually toggle between 2 base styles or have the properties of 2 separate base styles. She's a boxer puncher. She's got the fundamentals of a boxer puncher, but the volume of a pressure fighter.
Sometimes one style goes into the other,
depending on the nuances and unique attributes that a fighter might have. Amanda Serrano has the fluidity and fundamental soundness of the boxer puncher and the spite, but she's got a great engine, so she can throw punches in bunches the same way a pressure fighter would.
That is all wrong for Skye Nicholson.
We saw in the Tania Alvarez fight, when she's pushed, she'll tire. When she's forced to work, she might gas out. That often happens to pure boxers opposite the ring, volume punchers. They want to work at a slow and steady pace, and a volume puncher, usually a pressure fighter, won't let them.
Skye was getting tired opposite the ring, a very crude, rough around the edges pressure fighter that needed a lot of work in Tania Nia Alvarez. What do you think would happen opposite the ring Amanda Serrano?
I think Amanda would do to Skye Nicholson what she did to Eva Voraberger.
She'd stop her.
Worst thing that could happen to Skye Nicholson is she actually lands that Amanda Serrano fight anytime in the near or immediate future.
I admire her ambition. I understand. There's only one champion at featherweight. Who else are you gonna go after?
One fighter, just one fighter. They've got all the belts, all the marbles. There's only one path to becoming an alphabet champion at featherweight, so I get it.
But if she were to fight Amanda Serrano anytime in the near future, she gets stopped. Her best bet would have to be aging Amanda Serrano out, and even then, it's a gamble because punching power is the last thing to go.
Not that I imagine Amanda's going to stick around the sport that much longer till she's growing gray hairs out of her head. No, quite the opposite. She's already making good money.
7 division champion, current reigning, undisputed, Guinness World Record holder, 2 Guinness World Records.
Not a whole lot left for Amanda Serrano to do in the sport of boxing. She might be more enterprising and have other ideas and other projects that she wants to work on moving forward.
Just built herself a house in Puerto Rico.
It's real nice.
Skye's better off not putting pressure on herself to get Amanda in the ring. That could be catastrophic for her.
Take it one fight at a time. In men's lightweight news, on the heels of Devin Haney's big quote-unquote win over Vasyl Lomachenko, Devin said, people can say what they want to say. Judges had unanimous decision over Loma.
People are saying what they want to say.
It's your supporters, your fans that are at odds with them.
Every day since Saturday, I got some schmuck showing me scorecard.
Trying to. I don't care how you as an individual scored the fight because some things are too obvious to argue. The act of arguing them would lend credence to the notion that maybe you're onto something when you're not.
I don't care how you scored it. You care how I scored it. That's why you're here.
I mean, at the end of the day, people can say what they want to say. Haney said during his post-fight press conference, the judges had a unanimous decision, and that's all that matters. The judges, and each judge was on the same page when it came to that decision. So we got the victory.
Hey, the judges scored the Chavez versus Pernell Whitaker fight in favor of Julio Cesar Chavez, but that's still widely regarded as one of the bigger robberies in the sport of boxing.
It's what happens when the judge's perception of a fight doesn't align with the spectators in what is this spectator sport.
It's what happened with your fight on Saturday. That's why you got booed.
Booed in your own town, on your own home soil, your home turf.
It's too different, too widely dramatic.
Scorecards are, and what Devin's supporters have resorted to is acting like petulant children, trolling in the comments under videos like this one, but it doesn't change anyone's perception of the fight.
People are still going to call it a robbery.
No, not necessarily, said Haney, who resides in nearby Henderson, Nevada. I knew that the fight was close, but I wanted to win every round.
Devin thinks the fight was close.
Many of his fans don't seem to think so, Devin continued, but I wanted to win every round. It wasn't just the 12th round where I felt like, oh, I needed to win that round to win the fight. I knew that it was a close fight, so every round I was trying to win. I wanted to win every round. It wasn't the 12th round that really made me feel like I needed to win the fight. It was every round.
Devin put forth a valiant effort. Had he lost that same fight, fighting that same fight, he would have got a lot of credit for it.
Believe it or not, his stock wouldn't have went down.
No.
It would have went up.
Because he put up a good fight.
And it was an entertaining fight. It was a high-level boxing match. It's marred now by controversy.
Controversy that Devin's fans want to turn a blind eye to.
Pretend it's not there. The elephant in the room.
I can't tell you how many guys have been trying to gaslight me in the comments under these videos since Saturday.
Disingenuous arguments, disingenuous boxing takes. Compartmentalizing the argument as if it's just me that's calling this a robbery.
You know that Boosie Badass is still talking about this thing?
I watched the whole fight, bro. Yeah, I won on Haney, but I watched that whole fight, bro. We ain't win that one round, bro. I got free money last night, bro. Money can't make me lie, bro. But I gotta keep it real, bro. That nigga lost every round of that fight, bro. I watched every round, bro. I love to watch boxing, bro. I love to watch boxing, bro. Champ gotta shake back, bro. There's too much betting on boxing, bro. All that shit fake, bro. Boxing fake, bro.
Now, if you're Devin Haney, is that the kind of response you want from your paying public, your consumers? Is that the kind of response you want
Is it?
after your fight,
Is it?
after your pay-per-view debut? You want people saying that boxing is fake?
What are you going to tell them, that the judges scored it in your favor? Everybody knows who the judges scored the fight for.
What they're saying is that you don't deserve it. Boosie Badass is saying you don't deserve it. in spite of him winning money on you.
Because you know what a lot of Devin's fans are saying.
They're being disingenuous by compartmentalizing the argument to the individual.
The individual who might be a Vasyl Lomachenko fan, or the individual who might have just picked him to win and wants to be right.
Boosie picked Devin.
So did Shakur Stevenson ahead of the fight. He said that Devin would be too big, too strong for Vasyl Lomachenko, but after the fight, the both of them agreed. Vasyl Lomachenko won. One of them's a recording artist who just so happens to be a boxing fan, and one of them is an actual boxer, a world champion boxer, a two-division champion.
What they try to do is gaslight you by compartmentalizing the argument as if it's just you that's calling this a robbery.
It's just you, or it's just a few disgruntled Lomachenko fans.
Boosie picked Devin to win.
You're gonna tell me that Boosie don't know shit about boxing?
And what about Shakur Stevenson? He don't know shit about boxing either? Keyshawn Davis, Jorge Linares, Sean Porter, Regis Prograis,
One of the Charlo brothers, Jermaine Ortiz.
Oscar De La Hoya.
What, they don't know shit about boxing, them being boxers. They don't know shit about boxing, but you do?
I told you, Devin supporters are trying to compartmentalize the argument, keeping it as local as possible so they don't have to acknowledge all the other people that are calling this a robbery.
They try to localize it.
It's not working, though. If you ask the average person that saw that fight whether or not it was a robbery, they're going to tell you it was a robbery. If you want to gauge that, you can conduct an independent poll.
Yeah.
I did.
How do you think the results came back?
You don't trust me, you say? You say that I'm biased and so are my subscribers? Then conduct a poll of your own and see what happens.
You know what's gonna happen.
This is about validation, folks. This is about adulation and plaudits.
That's what it's about.
What these guys want is for me and you to pretend that Devin won that fight legitimately so that he can get the plaudits that come with that. That's what it's about, and that's why they're arguing. I mean, if you're so settled on Devin Haney winning that fight, why are you spending so much time on other people's opinions?
The judges think he won the fight, and you think he won the fight.
Shouldn't that be enough? And for them, it's not, because they seek validation from me and you. They need me and you to agree with them.
If they didn't, they wouldn't be showing me their scorecards, asking me how I scored the fight. Which rounds did I give to which guy?
And keep showing up in the comment section under my videos as if that's going to change something or stop me from calling this a robbery or stop the rest of the boxing world from calling it a robbery.
I can't change the outcome of that fight any more than you can change my mind.
The difference is, I'm not trying to change the outcome of that fight, I'm just addressing it, whereas
You want to change my mind.
you want to argue, you want to cross-compare scorecards, cross-compare notes, justify why what you think doesn't seem to align with what most people think.
You're in the minority.
You're the one that wants validation because most people agree it was a robbery.
You're the one tasked with the assignment to argue that it wasn't.
Trying to gaslight the boxing community at large, compartmentalizing the argument to just the specific individual you're speaking to at that time, when in reality, it's more like this.
Look at the screen.
The little guy at the bottom, that's you. That's you and anybody like you.
You won't find me arguing with anybody in the comment section of some video saying that Haney won that fight legitimately.
Some things are too obvious to argue. That was an obvious robbery.
You being in the minority, strong opinions that you might have.
They're of no influence. That's why you're in the minority.
Well, you guys are the ones pulling your scorecards out.
Endorse this victory, this robbery, try as you might. You're the ones that are going to be upset moving forward when Devin doesn't get the praise, the adulation, the plaudits that you want him to get.
You want us to look at him the way we looked at Loma.
You care what I think. I don't care what you think. You came
I
here.
don't care what you think about Devin or Vasyl Lomachenko.
I don't care how you scored the fight. It was a robbery.
You're the one that wants to argue.
You're the one in the minority. This robbery is on par with the robbery in the Chavez versus Whitaker fight.
Robbery!
Anyone endorsing this robbery is someone of questionable moral fiber and unethical.
Disingenuous.
You can sit in a prayer circle and tell each other it wasn't a robbery. Your problem is you're trying to tell us that.
Tell me.
You want to convince me.
Not working.
Because it was a robbery.
Your little annotations aren't going to change my mind.
Feel free to keep trying, though. Keep drumming up the metrics on my videos.
Keep it up.
The trajectory of Devin's career moving forward comes into question as Devin Haney says, me and Shakur are on a collision course. Definitely going to get it on when the time is right. And that kind of verbiage leads me to believe that perhaps Devin and his father and his team don't think now is the right time.
But Shakur is mandatory.
Bob ain't said Stevenson's name. Bill Haney said in reference to promoter Bob Arum. Bob ain't said his name. My phone ain't ringing. Devin Haney seconded his father's sentiment, but he does believe he will still face Stevenson at some point. Yeah, Bob hasn't said his name at all, Devin Haney said, but nah, listen, of course, I've been very vocal about that. Me and Shakur are on a collision collision course, whether it's at 135, whether it's at 140, whether it's at 147. We're definitely on a collision course, and we definitely going to get it on when the time is right.
Well, he's your mandatory right now.
You're the lightweight division's undisputed champion right now, and he's your mandatory right now. So we're going to need some answers.
Right now.
You know, if I can't get those fights next, or it doesn't make sense for it to be next, I'll probably go to 140, test it out, see how I feel at the weight at 140, Haney said during his press conference Saturday night, and then when the time is right, then I'll defend my belts at 135. We'll just see, though. I've got to go back and talk with my team and see what makes the most sense. That's really all it boils down to.
Yo-yoing in weight isn't healthy.
We see that sometimes in women's boxing, but it's very much ill-advised in men's boxing. Toggling in weight, toggling up and down.
It's not healthy.
Shakur Stevenson is already his mandatory challenger by way of the WBC.
The clock is ticking.
Let's make it happen, Stevenson told ESPN's Bernardo Osuna in the ring after Haney's win. I think that should happen next. I think Devin isn't on my level, and I'ma show it.
I think based on Devin's choice of words, they don't anticipate fighting Shakur Stevenson next, even though he's their mandatory challenger. They may vacate that title, or all the titles. All of them in one fell swoop. Devin Haney added, me and Tank Davis is a massive fight, and it's gonna happen sooner than later. So when it's about Shakur Stevenson, who's at the same weight as Gervonta Davis, he starts talking down the line.
It'll happen down the line. It'll happen when it makes sense. 135, 140, 147, as high as 147.
How many years down the line are you talking about?
When it comes to Shakur, but when it comes to Gervonta Davis, he says it'll happen sooner rather than later. Gervonta Davis is still over there on the PBC and Showtime side of things. This was supposed to be the final fight of Devin Haney's top-ranked contract.
He's supposed to be a free agent now.
Though according to Paulie Malignaggi, 2 days before Saturday night's fight, Devin Haney inked some kind of deal with Top Rank. That's according to Paulie.
You gotta take what Paulie says about Devin with a grain of salt, because it's always seemed to me like he's got an axe to grind with that kid.
It's not confirmed that Devin Haney will be staying on the Top Rank side of things.
Could he end up going to the PBC?
For Gervonta, we'll see.